Okay, guys, here we go with the information for the actual jobs and fields values, and I'll explain some notes on the fields values as we go. So let me kind of simplify this because here's kind of what we're doing. We're going to upload this thing to jobs, but we cannot do it first because the moment we go to upload it, it's going to start to run. And when it runs, it needs the field values, you know, the name, the email, etc., right? So we have to do that part first. Then we can do the other part. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to minimize the other page, get my desktop where you can see things happening. I'm going to go to fields value map, okay? And I'm going to add a new input field value map. It's the same button, top and bottom, okay? So, boom. And it's going to say add one, upload an Excel sheet and save it. All right, that's going to have all the name, email, and everything on it. Well, I don't know how that format should work, so I may as well download the sample file, okay? Once you download it and you have it, then it's easy to create versions. Create one for plumber, one for, and you can rename it to whatever you want. It does not have to be fields value map. It can be plumber mailer one. How about, let's say it, plumber dash like mailer dash one. Why? It's my first test message. I don't know what kind of conversions I'm going to get from it. It's, you know, I got to run some out and see how people react. Hopefully I've got visitor tracking code on the website I'm sending them to, you know, the web page, landing page, or whatever. And hopefully I can say, well, that way I can see them coming. And so hopefully for every, who knows, 1,000 I send out, I get a few, right? And then I'll say, okay, I'm getting a sense of how well my message is doing. If it's converting like 1%, 2%, 3%, maybe better. Now I want to try for a better message. And so what you do is maybe you're getting some calls from the guys and you get some feedback, or you're getting some sales. Maybe you get some questions in your email and you get a sense of what you said and what you didn't say and what kind of sense you made. And then you think, okay, let me create a copy, okay, that I'm going to make, you know, plumber mailer 2, okay? And that's going to be my hopefully new and improved message, you know. And I can give these things names, right? And then I can say like best so far is number 1, best so far is number 2, best so far, who knows, number 5, whatever. So yeah, you can just kind of check out your message and try to get the best results. Some systems allow you to spin text your message. I don't get the point. When you spin text the message, you're kind of sort of mixing message 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 across your 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people you're contacting. I don't get it. Because how are you supposed to know if you're getting a better conversion from one of them if you're mixing and matching? See, if you go straight out with a bunch and you get a 1% conversion, you go straight out with a different bunch and you get a 2% conversion, guess what? That message is doing twice as well. Theoretically, you're going to make twice the money with it. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't mix and match, or I'm going to have a result like 1.5 and not know why. Not know what did better than what. I won't be able to improve it because I won't know what to get rid of. You get it? Okay. Having said all that, okay, contact forms, they don't check each other, most of them, so they don't have any idea what each other, so they don't know who you're mailing. You're randomly mailing to each different city's plumbers. These guys don't know who you're contacting. Okay, so you don't need to go like spinning anything anyway. All right, so here we go. I got my plumber mailer one, let's say. Now I downloaded the sample file. Let me open it. We want to make some sense out of this thing. It's not hard. Okay, here we go. Enable editing. If I see that yellow tab, I'll enable it. And I can save it. That way I save that I enabled editing. Okay, this is pretty simple concepts. Let me point them out. There are just a few entries we have here. I've got name, comma, dash name, comma, underscore name. Why? Because the system is looking for the IDs of the fields to figure out the name. It doesn't know the name of the field by the wording on the page. It doesn't see when it says your name, your email. What it sees is that each box is identified on the form as being a name box, email box, phone box, whatever. Okay? And there are typical names that are given to those fields, like name. Okay? But there could be first name or F name, and this is the way those combinations could go, just to kind of give you an idea. Okay? Let me just kind of like make this bigger real quick so you see it. You don't have to mess with these. I'm only pointing it out so that you can make your hit rate better by including new things you see. So the field name could be name, and that would be like this. Name equals name, okay, for the field. Well, there's other versions, especially if it's for first name, okay? Could be like this. Let me just give you some examples. F dash name, F underscore name, you know, first dash name, and then, as you could imagine, first dash underscore name, and then a lot of other things. It could just be, you know, like FN, you know, which we did not add to the list, and you could add to the list. This is what I mean by increasing your hit rate. You can actually study the fields if you want of the forms that you didn't submit to and see what they're calling these things and see if you find standards you can use. Okay. In my case, most the fields use one of these combinations, and so because we do wildcards, any of these work. So theoretically, name by itself is all, but because some symbols are kind of funny that way, I'm just going ahead and including some other ones. Dash name, underscore name. You could even include space name, right? Just if you want, but space names implied. Okay, so with that in mind, name, and I put David. So it acts like a first name and a full name, and that's it. That's all I want. Most forms don't say first name and last name anyway. Okay, they just say name. What's your name? All right. Second, in case they say last name, okay, then I've got some options for that. Not many. Guess what I have? All right. Because I don't want it to also match on name, I don't want it to say name. I want it to say what it would say, like last. What's another one? L dash for, you know, what would be last name. Okay, just going to say L dash. And then we got L underscore. Do you get it? Okay, that's what you see. Could you add other ones? Could there be a LN? Yes, and there could be. And so go study some forms if you want, and you can add that in. You can even test, just add more. Just simply put a comma and add another thing. Put a comma, add another thing. No spaces necessary. Just follow what you see here for formatting. You can keep adding and keep adding. It's up to you. Okay, so what do we have? Name. Any of those combinations will create that. Last name will create that. Okay, mail, sender, email, dash mail, underscore mail, dash sender, underscore sender. Well, there you go. That's going to be the email address I send. Okay, then I've got this reversed ordered. First I have the message, then I have the subject line. Okay, final point to make there. When you're submitting the messages, the most important information goes at the top. Once the ALC fills a field in, it will not override it with something else later. Okay, once it fills it in, that's it. Then even if this did somehow match this, it will not put that in there because that's already in there. Okay, just so you know. So that's good to know. Okay, because it helps you order these things. Okay, if it was going to overwrite, you would want the most important thing at the bottom. Okay, now the next step to that is this. Because very often forms don't say what's your subject, they just say what's your message. Okay, I want the message to happen first if possible. Even if it tries to fit the message into the subject line, then at least the message is going, which is the most important thing. Finally, if there is a subject line, I'll worry about that last. Okay, the last note you might be asking is, does the order matter? Obviously not, because almost never is the subject line going to be after the body. So the order doesn't matter. It's going to look for this top down on the whole form. Then it's going to look for that top down on the whole form, that top down. So now you know how those go. All right. Final point I want to make about this. When you paste in your message here, okay, if I copy and paste this in the notepad, you can see it better. Control V. Okay. I've got my message, whatever it is. It opens with something, and then I've got a break tag that creates the new line. Okay, and then I've got more, and then I've got two break tags. So it doesn't just go down to the next line, but it also creates a space below that, and then it continues. Okay, the last thing, for those of you guys advanced enough to keep track of your messages and you want to do a count on which messages perform best, say I'm sending people here. Okay, if you know how to add variables to the end of your URL, question mark, and then something there for the variable, say, then you can do that. And people will still land on that page, but in your tracking code, Stack Counter or Google Analytics or whatever, where it shows the URLs, it is going to say this is the referring URL. So it will show this piece here on the end, on the URL. So you will know that somebody came from that message, because this will be your, whatever, your plumber one, right? That's what I would do here, plumber one. Okay, anyone who does not know exactly how this works, just get your Stack Counter code going, put the code up, and then visit your own page, then check Stack Counter and see if, in fact, it did add this to the end of your link. Okay, if it did, you're good to go. All right. Now, with the next mailer I put out with a different message on it will be 2. With a different message will be 3. So see how I'm matching it to the messages? Okay. Now, you can put whatever you want in here. It doesn't have to be plumber-1. It could be anything. Okay. It could be plumber special. All right. And that's just your code name for the first mailer you put out. The second one could be plumber offer, and that's your code name for the next one. You could even do it differently. If you're trying to tag everyone in Indiana, you know, then you could say something. You could even go Indiana plumber offer 1, you know, and then the second one will be Indiana plumber special. Okay, and that's just your code names for each message. Keep track somehow. Put it on an Excel file or something. Okay, having said that, once I get this message figured out, I'm going to take word wrap off, make sure it's on one line, make sure you don't actually have any true line breaks in it, because I want to get rid of that. I need regular, proper formatting. Then I can control all. Okay, don't even get your second line. Let's kill that, right? Then control A, you know, control all, control C, and that way I could paste it in here, right? Control V, right? And that would be my thing. And I'm going to say it, modern, okay, not roofing, again, plumbing, right? Modern plumbing, website marketing. You might say, why do that? Then you always have to change it. And the answer is, yeah, I'm trying intentionally to make each message closer to the market. Okay, so I'm choosing to do that. All right, now that I have it done, I can just open it again and double check it, make sure I got it, got the right one, everything. And yeah, it's looking right to me. That's the right one. And I'll just get rid of this other one for now because I don't need it yet, right? I didn't make a version of my message. Now, real quick, when you hit the choose file button to choose a file, you have to dig all over your computer to get to the right place, right? There is a shortcut. Cancel out. Shortcut's this. If you get your mouse, well, your cursor, right, the arrow point over the button, no matter what you're holding, then it'll work and it'll show up, okay? Now, the arrow head has to go on the button. You can't have the bottom of the arrow on the button. You can't click it that way. You have to have the top of the arrow on the button to click it. Okay, so watch this. And this works for every one of the buttons like this throughout our systems. I can take this and I can drag it. And I can't just let it go wherever I want. I got to make sure my arrow head hits that button and then let go. See, it worked. It's showing it. Now, if I missed, it's going to download it as a separate entity. And it gave it a name on the end, so it's, you know, got its own unique name. So it's got a 1 in parentheses. And now if I do it right, it'll overwrite the other one. See that? Okay. Well, I don't want to overwrite the other one. I want this one. All right, there you go. And I'm going to save it. Okay. There you go. That's what it did. It broke out each one of those field commands because it's going to check every one of those things separately, and it's going to put in the relevant data every single time. Okay, there you go. So I can override it with a new one whenever I want to do a new one. Now, word of the wise, don't remove these. You could add some. These are good. We find that these have popped up in a lot of forms, so it's important to keep them in. So don't take them out. Add new, don't remove old. You can always add new, don't remove old. Okay, there you go. All right, now, jobs, ALC jobs. And, of course, if you're going to do another one, just do it again with a new file, and it'll overwrite. Okay, jobs. I just got done putting up the message I want to send everybody and my contact info. Oh, there is one last thing I want to say about that. Really, really important because a lot of you never thought about it. Okay, what if you start getting a really high hit rate and you start contacting everyone you're trying to contact? Okay. And what if a lot of them either bounce back or you could think, what if they sign me up to newsletters or something like that? Don't use the same email address here that you want the serious guys to contact you with. If I'm sending them to a certain page, okay, and this message is sending them to this page, website dash, okay, right here, boom, okay. And like I said, it's got the coding on the end so I can track it in my tracking, like, plumber dash whatever offer. Then whenever I have that in my message that goes out, then it still goes here, but on my visitor tracking and stack counter, it will show me this whole link. So I will know how many people clicked from that ad I've been sending out versus how many people click on some other ad I send out where I intentionally changed that little bit of a link. So when people come, I see those entries also in Stack Hunter, and I can compare which is doing better, which is grabbing more people's attention. Okay? So now, if they come here and they are actually interested and they want to talk to me, I got an email address here. This is what I'm looking for them to contact me on. This is the phone number, that's the email. Okay? I want them to contact me only after they've looked at the information. Because if they have not gone to this page and looked at the information, they're not serious. I don't know why they would call me right when they got the email. That doesn't make any sense. If they're coherent, sensible, and interested in my message, then they'll click the link, read the page, and then contact me with their questions. So do not use the same email address here, because otherwise you're going to get a lot of remove me, you're going to get a lot of this form no longer works properly. You could be signed up to a lot of newsletters, right? And you don't want that mixed in with real messages from real inquiring people. So you want two different boxes for those purposes. Final note, this thing must match at least 3 in order to send. If it cannot match at least 3 messages, then it will not send it. Why? Because usually you've got just a regular name, a regular email, and a regular message, okay? And if it does have like a name and an email and a subject line, then it's also going to have the subject line and the message both, okay? So it's got to match 3. Why not 2? Because if it just says 2, very often on a website, if it lands on the front page and the contact form is there, it could be for a newsletter. And you could just wind up on their newsletter and you're getting a confirmation link to this email address to click on. And you don't want to. You're not trying to sign up for their plumber newsletter. Okay. That brings to mind one more point. And that's this. Our process gave us front pages. Okay, I'm going to close that. I'm going to come back here for a minute because we're down to the last. So you might, of course, be asking the last thing right now. Okay, because we're going to want to upload this file so we can start doing the job right now. Okay, we've got just front pages. So how does it work? Here's the answer. ALC will go visit the front page from the top down. It'll go in order of the links. When it gets on the page, it will look for the contact form. If it can fill in at least 3 fields, it will attempt to do it. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with CAPTCHA yet, so it'll have to ignore those. Okay. Well, the CAPTCHA is a technical hurdle, has to do with session IDs, server to server to server. So we're still working on that. We'll come out with an upgrade for that and put that out. Beating CAPTCHA is something everybody wants. We want it too. So we'll get that done soon. When we do, we'll let you all know. Okay. There might be a slight upgrade fee for that or not. Just depends. Beyond that, though, if it cannot find the contact form on the page, then it will look in the page for any links that say contact, email, or about, in that order, contact, email, about. And if it can find any links that say it either in the wording or the coding, it will immediately go there. So if it sees a link that says contact us, it will click it. If it sees a link that says whatever, click here for more information, but the URL says -contact.html or -contact.us.php or whatever, -contactus.php, anything like that, it will still click it. Then on that page, it will see if it has a form, okay? A contact form where it can fill in at least 3 boxes. If so, it will submit. If not, it will just move on. It will not waste time checking every page of the website. If there's not a contact form on an obvious relevant page, either the contact page or the About Us page, then that's it. It's just going to move on to the next. Okay. Chances are good they're just saying email us here, and they've got an email address. Well, we're not trying to email. We're trying to use contact forms on purpose. Okay. So there you go. It's going to go top down in that order. Let me see. So now let me upload it literally. So here's how I do it. I go to my jobs, add new job, notify me when it's done. So I got my email address, whatever email you want to use. Upload the file, just grab it, drag it, get the tip of your cursor on that button, and there it is, and save it. And watch this. There it is. Here's what it's showing you now. This is the job you just added. It's starting it. Whatever the system time is just the default time that it's set to. Okay. It's going to notify this email. Here's the stats. It's done 0 out of 536 so far. Okay. You can show the list to see how it's coming and see what it's sending to. End date is going to be when it's done. It'll tell you when it's done. So then you'll be able to figure out, well, it went through 536 in that amount of time, whatever that is, an hour, maybe a little more. Okay. Right now it's doing about 500 an hour. Okay. We can make it quicker, but right now that's where it's at. All right. And it's enabled. If I want to stop it, I'll disable it. Okay, I can re-enable it later, but we haven't played much with that, and I frankly forget whether it just continues where it left off or starts over. It should just continue where it left off because it can always see where it left off. You can always double check it later. But anyway, this number will not update on its own. I could close the page, walk away, and wait for the email. If I would like to see what's going on, I can hit show list, and so far it's saying 0 out of 536, but let me refresh the page. There, it's done 20 so far. It does not mean, okay, let yourself off that horse for 1 second. It does not mean that it reached out and contacted 20 contact forms. It means it went through the first 20 of the 536. Many of them don't have contact forms. Many of them have contact forms with CAPTCHA. Many of them have AJAX contact forms, which we don't read yet. They don't have name values. But whatever, we can hit show list. Okay, it did work with this guy right here. So it was able to send to him. Here I can see the code. Okay. And it just told me what it needed, and there it was. Okay. 3 things. All right. If I scroll down slightly, oh, it hit another one here, and then it hit another one there. So far out of 20, it got 3. All right. Now, it is getting basically 1 in 10 on average, but it depends on the industry you do this for. Of course, everyone's going to be different. But it went through 20 real quick and truly contacted 3 quality people. Now it's up to 24. It contacted 3 quality people, right? They're people with low PR who match what we're looking for. So I have contacted 3 of the right people with my message. Now, it is averaging a contact a minute. Okay, basically, again, it's going to depend on your list and your industry and everything. It's going to, your results may vary. But right now, it's getting about a contact a minute. You might think, how can I improve it? The answer is right here, the fields value. Come up with more values to add that make sense, like FN for first name, LN for last name, and other things. So somebody says, how do you study the forms that it failed to submit to? And now it's up to 37, by the way. See, it's multi-threading. Okay, that's why the numbers jog like that. Sometimes it can't get it the first time, so it's programmed to retry up to 3 times before moving on, just so you know. And if a server tries to block it and make it stick indefinitely, which used to happen, it's programmed not to let that happen. It times itself and then overcomes that and keeps going. All right, let me show the list. Okay. Here's the thing. Some of these it gets, many of them it doesn't. Who knows how many it got? Okay, many it's not going to get, and then it's going to get some. That's just the way it is. You might think, how can we improve it? And the answer is, if you're thinking about this, what would you guess it to be? It would be, go look at some of the forms that it failed to submit to, okay, and see what you can see. You can go to the website and see if there's something there. When it sends you the email, it's actually got links to each page it can or each link. But you know, if I wanted to open something like this, let me just try it in Chrome. Yeah, I can do this. Boom, new tab, I'm there. Did it have a contact page? I see one. Okay, it does have a contact form. So let me just right click and hit view source, and I might look for contact form or something like zip, right? View page source. Control F, ZIP. Okay. And I'm looking to see what else I can add. And that's what they did. They did a CSS routine which avoids their needing to use the word name. Oh, they do have name, zip. Uppercase, lowercase should not matter. If you want to double check me on that, put in an uppercase, as well as a lowercase. Somebody said, what if you want to do an apples to apples test? The answer is then do the same list twice, literally. Again, you can. So if you want to do the same list twice after making some changes, just to see if you get a better contact throughput rate, then go ahead. Okay. So anyway, once you figure out new things from the source code that you can try to add, like comments. Did we say comments? Maybe we didn't say the name is comments, capital C, but it says comments. And so if we didn't have anything about comments in our field value, field maps, let's see. Okay, I got comment singular with an underscore. I have comments singular. I may just put comments in there anyway, right? It's not going to hurt to add some more, okay? And just see if maybe that helps the overall throughput rate. Okay, there you go. There's the concept. It's running, and it's got 51 done. Obviously, I could go out and take a walk, come back later, see how many it did. I can show my list and count through how many it got, later on. Look at that. See, it's hitting more. It's certainly hitting more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 so far, It's just going to come and go, like 1 in 10. Not surprising if you get 1 in 10. Okay. Well, that'd be 5. This is more like 2 in 10 at this point. All right, so there you go. When I go to add the next job, when it's done with this, it'll display it in red. It'll just show you 536 out of 536. You can show the list if you want. You can just add a new job, upload another file. So what do? You go back to the first step, go to the TCOB, okay, open it, do the next 15, okay. So just take your plumber, drag it down for 15 more, to like 30. Okay, and do 16 through 30, copy, create search, overwrite the old 15, paste. That's just an easy way to do it, right? Create that search, so list cleaner. Create the search, right? I mean, literally, it's basically this easy. And by now, you can hit this button. It's going to open 15 more of those Google web pages. But it's been so long since the last time we did it, Google's not going to throw an image verification check. We're not moving too fast. So see, it's going to take this a while to get done with that. It could take an hour. I can refresh it again. Just take a look. 62 out of 536, right? 5, 6, 7, about 7 minutes, 7 or 8 minutes. Okay, it's gotten 62 of those done. All right, and it's contacted like 10 or 12. So that's pretty cool. It's contacting a real quality guy every minute. And by the time I'm done, it'll take me like another 4 minutes to set up the file, trim the websites, run them through the page rank checker, then run them through here, filter, grab it, the list, paste it into a new file, and then upload it. And then just let it do that one. I don't have to go do the fields value map again. I can leave this one alone for as long as I keep using it. So I could leave it alone and just keep adding more jobs, If I keep doing plumbers, there's no need to change the message, okay? So I could just keep doing new jobs, add more, walk off, add more, walk off. You could prep them in advance. I haven't tried to upload multiples at one time, so you could try. The assumption is if I keep coming back to Google really, really fast, then I might get the image block. But you can test, because again, it's not going to hurt you to get the image block. It'll just slow you down a bit, because it'll stop you from automatically opening 15 tabs at once, because of all those images. That process, by the way, if it does pop up, it'll stop you for like an hour, maybe two. Just do some searches on purpose on Google, so you have to fill it in each time, and Google will loosen back up. And give it another hour or two or so, and then you should be back to normal again. Okay, so there's the process really, and that lets this thing run forever. Now what we're going to wind up talking about is what happens when you get lots of other people doing this with you, and some other things that we're going to do, like what would it take to run this thing in parallel, to make it do more faster, or getting other people to do these for you for whatever, cut a commission on your sales. It's possible to get other people doing things like this for you, or just paying them to run a batch out so you don't have to pay commissions on sales, especially for those of you guys getting repeat sales and you really don't want to let other people cut into that. Who knows? It's up to you. All right, we'll talk about it more soon, but there you go. There's the mechanics of it. So as soon as we install it and send you your login information and send you your ALC tool, then you are free to take off and run with it. You'll have all the stuff you need. The city-state list in case you use city-states. By the way, you don't have to use city-states. Like I was saying, and just to make sure you remember, if I don't want to use city-states, I'll just simply start on the Create Search tab. I won't have two fields. Okay, I'll just have one, and it'll be my list of keywords, whatever they are. Okay, and I'll do the same thing. I'll just continue from there. I'll create the search, go get the links, paste them in, trim them, grab those, PR check them, and then paste that result in here, and then run that filter, and that gives me just the right links, which I copy to a file and then upload to the ALC tool. Honestly, 3 to 4 minutes, and then it works for an hour on your behalf. And so you could go prepping some of those files in advance. It's got 99 done. Isn't that cool? And then just keep it going. And that can go for you all day long. And what's great is I don't need this thing open. I can do other things right now and just wait for my phone to ring or wait for people to buy through my PayPal buttons online. Okay? I don't need to do anything except let it do my marketing for me. That's 5 minutes of active work here and there is all the marketing I necessarily have to do to keep tagging new people who are the right people. Get it? So I can focus my time on other things, my business, my family, my friends. All right, thanks very much for watching. That's the ALC version 2.0. I hope you like it. It's truly powerful. We're going to talk about using it as with T2HA white hat resellers or white label resellers. Being able to open what looks like your very own store where we do the work in the background, and you can do the ALC tool, and then you can also have an affiliate system attached to it, coupon code system attached to it to invite others to get a cut of commission by marketing with you or for you, and they could get a copy of the ALC tool and run it to help you raise money. And it looks great because they don't think that they're doing it for you, for us. They don't know who we are. You look like the store. And so you're cutting commissions with them. All right? And so they're working for you and they have no idea who we are. That's part of a package that we're putting together for you now. So let me know if you're interested in that because it's really huge. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Thanks a lot for watching.